dishes, because dry is a lie.
Hamburger helpers gone Italian.
Plain hamburgers now become lasagna, yum, yum, yum. Noodles and mild cheese, tomato sauce sure to please. Seasoned authentically to please your family. Hamburger helper makes lasagna with no mistake.
It's no chore.
I'd like more.
Hamburger helper, hamburger, make a great meal.
Lemons, come in.
Lemons? You got some left?
What?
Thought they squeezed them all into lemony Ajax. New Ajax dishwashing liquid's got real lemon juice.
Lemon scent.
And lemony Ajax works longer, washes more dishes. So its new formula works better than all leading dishwashing liquids.
Better?
Ajax suds clean up the greasiest dishes. See? Nothing works better than lemony Ajax. Gets dishes so grease-free, they squeak. New Ajax dishwashing liquid with real lemon juice.
Join us again for the young and the restless.
This is CBS.
Verbal fireworks this morning at the Minneapolis City Council. There, the owner of a Minneapolis bar is fighting efforts to restrict the hours he can stay open. A Wayzata company will be likely facing charges in court. Buyers of the firm's townhouses claim that the company has slipped in a land lease hike that they weren't aware of. No questions about who owns this land. It has been in the same family for 100 years. We'll tell you about one of Minnesota's Century Farms, and we'll check out the action today at the Minnesota State Fair, coming up on our special State Fair broadcast of the Noon Report, live on the fairgrounds.
A glass door on a dishwasher? We did it to prove that Jet Dry helps stop spots on glasses and dishes when detergents alone can't. Look, the leading detergent is already down the drain in the rinse cycle, where spots form. See, drops that can spot glasses and dishes. Now we use Jet Dry in the same machine. Because Jet Dry works in the rinse cycle, it helps stop spots. See the difference? Try Jet Dry Spot Preventer. Solid, too. Jet Dry helps stop spots when detergents alone can't.
Juicy steaks, corn so fine, tomatoes you picked right off the vine. You bring it all together with country time. Summertime, mealtime, that's the time for country time. Tastes like good old-fashioned lemonade.
Country Time lemonade flavored drink mix.
Summertime, mealtime, that's the time for country time. Summertime.
Introducing new Velveeta slices.
Hi, Roger. Hi, Priscilla. What you eating? Velveeta slices. Trade you for a slice? No, thanks. Let you carry my books? Nah. Want to come to my tea party? Tea party? Roger, I think you like Velveeta slices better than me. I like you better than Brussels sprouts.
New Velveeta slices with a taste you just wouldn't trade for anything.
WCCO Television, Minneapolis, St. Paul.
From WCCO Television, Minneapolis, St. Paul, the Northwest's leading news station, this is the Noon Report.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Friday special edition of the Noon Report, live from the Minnesota State Fair. Leading the news of this hour, Minneapolis police have found a missing 7-year-old child. Authorities say Victoria Larkins at 2220 Clinton Avenue South had been missing since 5:30 yesterday afternoon. The police department used a canine squad to comb the little girl's neighborhood. It is unknown what condition she is now in and where she was found. Officials of a Wayzata housing development firm may soon find themselves facing the anger of the folks that they've sold homes to in court.
Debbie, a lawsuit filed against the Centurion Company of Wayzata accuses the company of defrauding Hennepin County residents who bought townhouses in western suburbs. Mike Walter has more.
Centurion homeowners pay $64 a month to lease the land beneath their places. It's a concept called Permalease, used extensively in California and Hawaii. But a clause in the sales agreement says if you sell the home after 10 years, the new owner's rent on the land could increase by 4 to 5 times. For example, if the present owner sold after 10 years for $100,000, the rent on the land would soar from $64 to $268. The suit alleges that the rental increases make it virtually impossible to resell the homes.
If I want to sell my house, I'm not going to be able to sell it. The minute anybody hears that we're Permalease, they turn around and run the other way. I have a lot of neighbors here who have been trying to sell their house for over a year even, and they can't sell, so what they do is they end up renting it out. And this changes the neighborhood. It's not what I wanted when I moved in, and I think we're in an impossible situation.
I'm trying to sell my house now, and I've started to realize, although I realized soon after I moved in, that these aren't as marketable as I'd thought when I first purchased them.
The class action suit alleges that many buyers were not shown the rent increase clause, and it accuses Centurion and 2 related companies of fraud. The suit requests that Centurion change the rent clause and that each plaintiff be given monetary and punitive damages. Over the past decade, Centurion has sold about 1,400 townhouses under this Permalease agreement in 14 separate housing developments. The Centurion Company had no official response to the filing of the lawsuit, but officials did claim that it's never been company policy to withhold information about the Permalease clause in the sales agreement. I'm Mike Walcher, WCCO Television News in Hennepin County.
Police in Rochester have made their second grim discovery in as many days, a charred body in a burned-out car. On Thursday, they found the car and the body in the outskirts of the city. Just a day before, another body was found in yet another car. Neither victim has been identified, and officials indicate no connection between the 2 deaths. Authorities in southwestern Minnesota are continuing their search for 2 men who allegedly stole a car with more than $50,000 worth of gems in its trunk. The car was stolen Wednesday night from a La Crescent gas station. Police have now recovered the car, minus the jewels, and the FBI has arrested a woman in Chicago in connection with that case. Residents of St. Paul's Summit Hill area are trying to figure out what they can do to make their neighborhood safer. Several dozen turned out last night in response to a rash of crimes over the past few weeks. Last weekend, there were at least 6 burglaries and 3 attempted burglaries in the neighborhood. Residents were told details of police attempts to control the crime wave and what residents can do to make their neighborhood a safer place to live. Debbie?
Years of complaints about noise at a South Minneapolis bar ended up at the Minneapolis City Council this morning. Alderman Tony Scallon has taken those complaints to heart and is attempting to restrict the hours the Jimmy Steaks and Spirits at 3675 Minnehaha Avenue can remain open. Bar owner Jimmy Pieces today insisted that setting special hours for his establishment would be discriminatory. Residents living near the bar claim that the noise from the bar that the bar patrons make has continually been a nuisance. So far, the City Council has not taken any action on that ordinance. Another company is moving out of Minneapolis. The Durkee Atwood Company has agreed to a 5-year lease in New Hope. The New Hope City Council approved a measure calling for issuing $2 million in industrial revenue bonds for possible future expansion by the company. Durkee Atwood's plant on Nicollet Island is scheduled to be torn down later this year to make way for a city park. The company's negotiations with the city of Minneapolis for a site in North Minneapolis failed to reach a solution. Firefighters battled a 2-alarm fire in South Minneapolis overnight. The blaze broke out around 10:15, heavily damaging 1-story commercial building at 2817 Bryant Avenue North. No one was reported injured, and the fire was brought under control about an hour later. Investigators have estimated the damage at $100,000. 1,300 Palestinian guerrillas piled into trucks for the first overland trek to Syria this morning.
And ironically, today's evacuation of the PLO moved along the Beirut to Damascus highway, the scene of heavy fighting in the Lebanese war. And today, Israeli Defense Minister Ariel Sharon flies from New York to Washington for meetings with Defense Secretary Caspar Weinberger and Secretary of State George Shultz. Yesterday, Sharon told American Jewish leaders that Israel will soon sign a peace treaty with Lebanon, and according to Sharon, the treaty will usher in a new era of cooperation in the Mideast. Wall Street traders are setting new records today. In fact, every share traded today establishes a new record. We'll have that story, and we'll follow up on the penny auction, the technique used earlier this week to save the equipment of a Westbrook farmer. And, of course, we'll continue to check out the activity at the 1982 Minnesota State Fair.
much?
Surprise.
A hamburger.
No, it's a chicken patty.
Looks like...
A hamburger. Taste it.
Tastes like
chicken. 100% chicken. Banquet chicken patties.
Great idea.
That's a hamburger. People are mad.
Nah,
sure they are.
Maybe a little.
New Banquet patties, nuggets, and sticks are 100% tender, juicy chicken. Gonna drive hamburger lovers mad.
We told you.
There's no way records can't be set today on Wall Street. The floor of the New York Stock Exchange was in pandemonium on Thursday as the market broke its one-week volume record. More than 100 million shares were traded for the fourth straight session. The Dow Jones Industrial Average finished the day up 7.5 points. Starting today, financial institutions will pay less to borrow money from the Federal Reserve Board. After the market closed on Thursday, the Fed announced it's trimming another half point from the rate it charges member banks for their loans. The discount rate now sits at 10%, 2 points less than it was on July 20th. Debbie?
Bill, trading on Wall Street today is running a bit behind yesterday's pace. At noon, the Dow Jones Industrial Average is down 4.66. Transportation issues are down 0.38, and utility issues down 1/3 of a point. The decline of interest rates and surge in stock prices won't affect the rising tide of business failures. That word from economists comes as corporate bankruptcies in the United States have jumped to an all-time high. According to Dun & Bradstreet, 17,000 businesses failed in 1981. They figure that compares to 7,000 in 1979. But the economy was not the reason for the fall of the Manville Corporation. That company has declared bankruptcy even though it is a $2 billion mining and manufacturing corporation. The company's downfall is due in part to 16,000 lawsuits. Those lawsuits were filed by people exposed to asbestos, a known cancer-causing agent. Many of the suits have been filed by Navy workers installing asbestos materials on ships. The filing of the bankruptcy freezes suits which have already been filed and prevents new ones from being filed for the time being. Company officials claimed the company's business operations were in good shape, but the company had been completely overwhelmed by that litigation. The Manville Corporation is the largest American company to ever file bankruptcy. Much of rural America is also on the brink of bankruptcy. Earlier this week, farm leaders revived a tool used during the hard times of the 1930s to save a farm of a Westbrook, Minnesota man.
Penny auctions came into being in the 1930s. When farmers heard that another farmer was about to lose everything, they banded together to attend the auction. They would buy the farmer's livestock and equipment for only a few cents, and then permanently lease it back to the farmer. The idea was if the debt-ridden farmer did not actually own the equipment, his creditors would have nothing to take away. About 200 farmers tried that same technique Wednesday near Westbrook, Minnesota. The farm's owner, Wyden Hansen, owes $80,000 to the Farmers Home Administration. Before the auction started, however, the auctioneer postponed it. Organizers of the penny auction say that though this auction never went off, they plan more in Minnesota. But Farmers Home Administration officials say they may actually be doing farmers more harm than good.
Just pure sense of giving it back to him for just a fraction of what he owes on it would be a big help. But if you look at it from the standpoint that it probably would destroy this man's credit in the community, you're not going to loan money to people that you feel you cannot protect the debt.
In some states, farm groups have gotten injunctions against the FMHA to protect farmers against foreclosure sales. American agriculture movement officials say they're considering an injunction in Minnesota.
As for Wyden Hansen, FMHA officials plan to meet with him today to encourage him to sell his farm machinery or face possible court action. Bill?
Debbie, just a couple of blocks from our State Fair studio up on Machinery Hill, there's a listing of Minnesota's century farms, farms that have been in the same family for over 100 years. More than 2,600 farms have been so honored since 1976, and this year 300 farms were added to the list. Recently, we had the opportunity to visit one of them. Just outside of Elk River, the Kliever Farm was homesteaded in 1882 by immigrants just over from Germany. 3 generations of Klievers have lived here, first in a log cabin, and since 1904 in this farmhouse.
1904.
It's an important year for you, too, right?
Yeah, that's the same year, the same year I was born. I was born right on Christmas Day, too.
And because of you and some other brothers and sisters, they had to expand this house a little bit from time to time, huh?
Yes, that's right, yeah. Then was 9 of us for a while, and then my folks and my grandma was then yet when they built the other part on, so. But then finally some got married and some went worked out, so now it's a big house.
It was a log cabin at one time.
Yeah, on this side, yeah. They had a log cabin, yeah. My grandfather, after that, the log house, and he worked out, he had to walk to town 6 miles about to work. He worked for Nicholson, you know, and then you go on a Monday morning and come back on a Saturday night. Then my grandma, then she was home here, well, had a few chickens, I guess, and a pig or so, I guess. The first years were pretty rough then, I guess.
I'm sure they must have been. I'm sure that you remember, Mrs. Kliever, lots of changes that have occurred around here. What are some that come most quickly to mind?
Oh, dear, the changes in farming, for sure. Machinery. Everything used to be done by hand. Much of it, anyhow.
And though it's a restful, retiring time in this farm right now, there's still a great many animals around and many memories of much busier days.
Yeah, used to plow with a yang plow, 4 horses on a yang plow. First it was walking plow, done a lot of walking plowing. Then was sulky in a yang plow with 4 horses I had on. And then after a while it was tractor, 10-20 tractor. Well, now finally it's Ford tractor and Ellis have now the last years.
The Arnold and Elsie Kliever Farm near Elk River, honored by the State Fair this year as one of Minnesota's century farms. Cool temperatures face visitors to the fair today after last night's deluge. In fact, Dan Carlson says there's a chance of some frost in some parts of the state tonight.
Plywood, Minnesota. Get great savings during our August inventory clearance sale. Save on Americana kitchen cabinets. At 40% off list, a 14-foot kitchen is now just $596. A great selection of jute back and pre-padded carpet is $296 to $796 a square yard. Pre-finished paneling as low as $299 a panel. Choose from thousands of rolls of wallpaper. Buy 3 and get 1 free. Great bargains through Tuesday, August 31st at Plywood, Minnesota.
What a lunch Kentucky Fried Chicken's got. And what a choice.
What a lunch, what a lunch, what a lunch, lunch, lunch. What a lunch, what a lunch, what a lunch, lunch, lunch. What a lunch, what a lunch, what a lunch, lunch, lunch. Kentucky Fried Chicken for lunch.
What a choice. A chicken sandwich that's a real filet. And Kentucky fries. Big wedges, crispy outside, fluffy inside. Cold drinks, original recipe chicken, and more.
What a lunch, what a lunch, what a lunch, lunch, lunch. Kentucky Fried Chicken for lunch.
What a lunch.
Now, during Dayton's home sale, buy this premium quality Sealy sleep set in Super Firm or Luxury Firm and save 40%. Quantities are limited, so hurry.
Hi, I'm Marlo Bendo.
And I'm Steve Doyle. On the next PIA magazine, go behind the scenes of the world's largest stage show. It has earthquakes, floods, waterfalls, even its own airliner.
And 3 years ago, this woman left the cities to take to the woods. After building her own log cabin, she's reached her dream of pioneering the wilderness, all on her own. Her story on the next PM magazine.
PM magazine, it's good TV. PM magazine, it's good TV.
Bright, sunshiny day here at the Minnesota State Fair. A few small white clouds up in the sky, but not nearly as threatening as yesterday when we had that heavy thunder shower move through the Twin Cities. Actually, it became severe later in the afternoon as it moved through Pierce County, Wisconsin. Before it was over, we had up to an inch in some parts of the 10-county metro area. But for today, the farmers are not really concerned about precipitation amounts. It's evening lows they're concerned with. That's because we had some frost last night in northern Minnesota. The morning low temperature map indicates the temperatures dipped as low as 24 degrees in Thorholt, Minnesota. It was 28 with 1/8 of an inch of ice on cars at Long Prairie. Numerous record-breaking low temperatures were set. There was a record breaker up at International Falls, at Ely, Long Prairie. Also Bismarck and Fargo setting record lows, the coldest they've been on this date since the late 1800s. So it's really been a cool morning. The bad news is that it is going to get a little bit colder. In terms of precipitation, yesterday's thunder showers left over an inch across several parts of the region. We had only 1/4 of an inch, though, officially out at the Minneapolis-St. Paul International Airport. Almost a half inch here at the State Fair, though, nearly an inch up at Alexandria, and some heavier amounts have been falling elsewhere in the country. On the U.S. radar map, we have some heavy thunderstorms moving through parts of central Nebraska and southern Missouri. Overnight, Prairie Hill, Missouri, rather, picked up 8 inches of rain from those thunderstorms that moved through us, but that was a very high amount. Most rainfall amounts through Missouri range from 1 to 2 inches. The forecast map for later this afternoon and tonight shows showers and thunderstorms that will be stretching up and down the eastern seaboard. It's going to be a very warm day for the Gulf Coast states. Showers and thunder showers will then curve back on up into the east side of the Rocky Mountains as far east as the Dakotas. We're forecasting very cool weather as a Canadian high pressure center moves over Minnesota. Light winds will allow our temperatures to drop well below freezing in the northern part of the state. The National Weather Service has issued a frost warning, which means frost is likely for northeastern Minnesota. We do not expect at this point freezing temperatures to get as far south as the Twin Cities, but it is a possibility in some of the outlying areas, and we'll have more for you on that in later weathercast later today. But for now, far from freezing, we're at 62 degrees at the Minnesota State Fair, 38% the relative humidity. The winds are north at 12 miles an hour. The pressure rising from a reading of 30.21. Our forecast for the Twin Cities calls for a mostly sunny afternoon. We're looking for a high around 69 degrees. Tonight's low under mostly clear skies will be about 45 degrees, and we're expecting winds to be out of the north today and northwest at 10 to 15 miles an hour. For tomorrow, there's a 20% chance of afternoon and evening showers and thunderstorms developing as the high moves east and a low wings its way in our direction. But only a 20% chance. Should be a partly cloudy day with highs in the low 70s. The extended outlook then has us warming up slightly, and we're looking at a chance of showers on Sunday and Tuesday. A pretty nice day for Monday fairgoers, though, and those precip chances, again, are slight and certainly nothing to keep you away from here. So we're going to get away here, enjoy the Minnesota State Fair for a few more hours, and throw it back to you, Deb.
Dan, where are you?
Where am I?
Yeah, I can hear the train whistle. I was going to suggest you get off the tracks.
Okay. There's a train going by, Bill. I'm at the FAA Children's Barnyard. A lot of people here. Santa Claus is here, and a lot of animals to enjoy as well.
And I understand tomorrow you're going to be handing out cash refunds if your forecast wasn't right here at the booth, right?
No.
No. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Dan. Okay, you know, last night's downpour that Dan was talking about forced the cancellation of the grandstand show here at the fair. But fair officials have scheduled another show for disappointed ticket holders to the Willie Nelson and family performance last night. Willie will make one added performance this afternoon at 4 o'clock in the grandstand. Ticket stubs to last night's show will be honored at the grandstand and also will provide admission to the fairgrounds as well.
Bill, all this week, Tim Larson has shown us the sights and the sounds of Kauai. And if you go to the Hawaiian island, you will need a place to stay. Today, Tim presents some ideas on hotels.
As with any vacation, a trip to Kauai is going to involve a decision on how much to spend. If you want to loosen the purse strings a bit, you may decide to stay at the Waiahai. This is the newest luxury hotel in Poipu. It has great room service and nice, comfortable rooms, of course. But it also has one of the best beaches on the island and 3 different swimming pools. If you like restaurants, it has 3 of those, too. The cost of a double room at the Waiahai will range from $75 to $115 a night. At the other end of the scale, you may be able to find a cottage or condo for $35 to $55 a night. Not exactly cheap, but not bad for paradise. There are also some elegant and relaxing restaurants, of course. For more details, there's comprehensive restaurant and hotel information in the Consumer Travel Guide. A couple of other things you should know. First of all, you're going to need a car to get around. Fortunately, if you check into it carefully, you can often get a very good price. It rains fairly often in Hawaii, so if you're addicted to sunshine, you should also know that Poipu is supposed to be the sunniest section of Kauai. But don't let an occasional warm shower spoil the fun. This island is supposed to be a place to relax and go with the flow. That shouldn't be too hard to do. The people are friendly, the atmosphere is laid back, and the scenery is magnificent. I'm Tim Larson for WCCO Television News.
Ricky Henderson has a new record today for theft, stolen bases, that is. He tied the record amid cheers and boos in Milwaukee. Tony Parker will tell us about it coming up on the Noon Report.
How do you make your bathroom into a room you can really be proud of without having to spend a fortune? Get 4 towels, 1 bath rug, a creative shower curtain, clothes hamper, towel rack, a few new fixtures, mirror, back scrubber, imported soap, a decorator soft seat, soap dish, shaving mug, bath pillow. Or take your pick from the hundreds of other bath decorating ideas you'll find all under one roof at a place called Bathtique. Now, during our grand opening, decorator soft seats only $10.99. Pick up a free gift of imported soap at Bathtique, Rosedale, Maplewood, Knollwood, and Northtown Mall.
Spectrum. It's here. It's new. It's Spectrum. A whole new world of entertainment for everyone within 60 miles of the Twin Cities. Your TV and this phone number can bring it to you now. Watch movies, new movies, good stand-in-line movies. Up to 70 movies every month. Uncut, uninterrupted. Plus live sports, exclusive concerts. More of what you watch TV for. Spectrum. It's here now and the price is right. Call now. 623-9400. You've waited for Spectrum long enough.
Well, we'll have to wait at least one more game for Oakland's Ricky Henderson to set a new season record for most stolen bases. Last night in Milwaukee, the A's super thief tied Lou Brock's mark of 118 stolen bases in a single season in the first inning. Henderson singled off Brewers starter Caldwell, then Caldwell tried to keep him on first base.
There he goes! And the throw down and the... He drew safe number 118 for Anderson. Crowd, although they have signed up here for Ricky, are booing the call.
Lou Brock was sitting in the stands as some of the 30,000 Milwaukee fans cheered and some booed the umpire's call. Ricky tipped his cap but then failed to reach base again as Milwaukee beat the A's 10-3, so he'll have to wait until tonight to try for 119. Well, the Yankees used the big inning to beat the Twins 7-2 in the finale of their 3-game series in the Big Apple last night. Rick Cerrone got the game-winning hit, a 2-run double down the left field line, which started a 5-run outburst by the Yankees in the bottom of the 5th. Prior to that, the Twins led 2-1 on run-scoring hits by Bobby Mitchell and Gary Ward. Lee Mazzelli iced the victory with a 3-run homer in the 8th inning. 6 of the Yankees' 7 runs gave off Twins starter and loser Brad Havens. Ron Guidry pitched 8 innings and got the win. Ken Griffey a solo home run for New York. The Twins are back in the Metrodome tonight to host Cleveland in a 3-game series. The Yankees will be here for 3 games starting on Monday night. Well, Taiwan will meet Kirkland, Washington in tomorrow's championship game of the Little League World Series in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. Taiwan beat Canada 10-7 in yesterday's semifinals. Kirkland advanced with a 3-2 win over Wyoming, Michigan. Taiwan trailed 4-3 in the 5th inning yesterday when Chang Yang-sun hit a 2-run homer, followed by another 2-run shot by Wang Yung-chung as the Thais erupted for 5 runs. The Thai pitcher had 16 strikeouts. Taiwan is bidding for a 6th consecutive title in Little League World Series play and their 11th championship since 1969. Well, it's still summertime, right? We're also just a week away from the National Hockey League action, the North Stars training camp, that is, that opens up next week. The Stars signed another veteran to a long-term contract yesterday. Forward Dino Ciccarelli signed for 5 more years at a guesstimated $250,000 a season. Dino broke team records for scoring goals last season with 55 and most points with 107. Well, retired Viking running back Doug Pascal is suing the team for half his 1982 salary, claiming he was forced to quit because of an injury that he suffered to his knee last season. When Doug did quit a couple of weeks ago, the club said his action was voluntary. Now, in filing a suit, he's going under league rules that says when a player is forced to quit the game because of an injury, he must receive half pay. And Debbie, in that case, that's about $20,000, and Doug and his lawyer are going after the money, and the Vikings said they quit voluntarily. He said it was because of the knee, it hurt too much, couldn't play.
Okay. Say, you were out here passing out WCCO shopping bags yesterday, Tony. Are you coming back out here today?
Next Wednesday and Thursday.
Okay, we'll be looking for you. I'm sure a lot of the people here will be looking for you.
Okay.
Thank you, Tony. Students in Minot, North Dakota classrooms will be reading Newsweek Magazine after all this fall. On Thursday, the Minot School Board reversed itself and withdrew its ban of the news magazine. The earlier decision to outlaw the magazine from 9th to 10th grade social studies classes came when the school board said that the publication was, quote, too liberal. Bill?
Well, Debbie, the liberal education of officials at the National Zoo in Washington may have to be expanded. Seems they were wrong. They just don't know enough about pandas, at least about pregnant pandas, I guess. Zookeepers thought Ling Ling the panda was acting pregnant after being artificially inseminated, but a lab report has dashed their hopes that Ling Ling is expecting the nation's first panda cub. She simply is not. And as you'll notice, Debbie, I got through that story without having to read that pitter-patter of little panda paws. I had to last time. Well, that's it for today's edition of the Noon Report, live from the Minnesota State Fair. We would like to suggest that you stop by our booth while we're at the fair and say hello. Till tomorrow, or until Monday for the Noon Report, have a very pleasant day.
For a copy of a guide to this week's travel destination, send $1 to WCCO-TV, 50 South 9th Street, Minneapolis, Minnesota, 55402.